7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
He has a lot of problems.
Struggle to be top 5 in points at the end of the season.
Wow.
You bleach your hair, you're a sellout.
Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Moto Aftermath Show. This is episode number 307. I am your host, Travis. We are here in the TLR Coatings studios, and we are here to wrap up round one of the 2025 Pro Motocross series. God, I almost said Lucas Oil because Lucas Oil was a sponsor for this series for so long. Anyway, Pro Motocross got underway yesterday. I am solo in studio here, as you guys will be able to see. Look at that. There we are. We're solo in studio. Don't mind my label printer over there. It's been an off week, and yeah, we got to print labels to ship things. So anyway, back to just my camera here for a little while. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in here. Like I said, we're going to do a solo monologue. I used to do these quite frequently in the early years here. And with it being the holiday weekend, I had a ton of yard work to do, and I basically just wasn't worried about trying to schedule someone around their holiday, and I didn't really know what our holiday plans were and all that kind of good stuff. So with that being said, let's jump into this. So this show here is presented by Rev X Products, and the highlighted product we use all the time here is Max Power, which you can put in any of your four-stroke single-cylinder motors there. So I use it in my 250F, I use it in my Groms, I use it in my 110 pitter, I use it in the 110 pitter for the kid. We have all sorts of motors that we use it in. Lowers temperatures, extends the life of your motor, will extend the maintenance cycles of your motor by decreasing friction and heat. So make sure to check that out. We did do a test. They have a video on their YouTube channel. Me, our friend Doug, and Hunter and Cole went to Battle Creek Motorcycle Club and did a test with it, and the results are not exactly what you would think, but go check the video out on, like I said, on Rev X Products YouTube channel there, and you can see what we had going on there. Also on board with us here, Gutterworks still on board with us for the outdoor season. They're going to be bringing you our 450 race recap. We still have Complete Racing Solutions going to be bringing you the halftime report. We have Holster Co. Reload Rant, which I'm not sure if I have anything to rant about this week here. We'll have to wait and see. TLR Coatings Studios that we're in, and TLR Tinfoil Hat, which I do have a couple of things to touch on with that. Flo Racing going to be bringing you the 250 race recap. And no Rev X segment today because Cole's not here, and I don't run the X. And then, like I said, I didn't schedule anybody. I didn't call anybody. I didn't put anybody in to do this show with me. So this is going to be 30 minutes to an hour of me rambling on. So if you don't like my voice, you don't like my takes, you don't like my content, well, we'll see you next week. I got people scheduled for the rest of the summer here. So Eric also has the week off there. Alias MX and Adept Creative Co. They're on board with us. But no Eric this week either. So with that being said, let's jump right in here to our 450 race recap, brought to you by our friends at Gutterworks. Always well hung, just like Justin Barsha. There's going to be links in the description down below here. And we will start with right off the top, which would be Jet Lawrence, which, as I said in the reaction show last night, the more times that we doubt this guy and he comes back, the more and more and more it's just, why do we doubt him? The dude is a killer. Number one, let's just start with Paula. He is an absolute killer at Paula. No one beats him there. He's literally never lost an overall there in his professional motocross career. 250s, 450s, doesn't matter. Yesterday was no different. And yesterday, there was nothing new. Now that second moto, yes, there was times, just like James pointed out, where it appeared that he was fatigued, tired, whatever you want to say. He was sitting down more. He didn't exactly have all the energy that we all thought he would have. However, at the same time, he still did the same thing that we always see, which is he won. He went 1-1. Eli would get close, Jet would stretch it back out a little bit. Eli would get close, Jet would stretch it back out a little bit until all of a sudden Eli wasn't there. As I put for the title of the reaction show, he conquered the beast. He survived the beast. He beat the beast. Eli was beast mode, dude. Now, with that being said, Eli Tomac goes 4-2 for second overall. I don't think Eli was disappointed in that ride. Eli also knows he's coming off an injury. He's a wily veteran. He knows he can't lose the title in round one, and we'll get to somebody who did, but Eli did not lose the title in round one yesterday. He didn't win it, but he was solidly there. And I think it gave Eli some confidence of, okay, cool, I can run with this kid. Because let's face it, Eli has not had to battle Jet one-on-one straight up outdoors yet. So this was the first time we were seeing that. And, man, it was epic. And if that was anything as to what the rest of the year is going to look like, it's going to be awesome. Now, for all of the Jet haters out there who are going to say, well, Paul is his track, and just wait till we get further into the series and blah, blah, blah. Okay, yes, Jet's very good at Paula, but Jet's very good everywhere. Like, very good everywhere. Like, I'm not sure if y'all realize, but the only overall that Jet lost since he's gone pro in 450, or since he's gone to the 450 class, was Hangtown last year, where he wadded his shit in the first moto. That's the only, and DNF the first moto, didn't race the second moto. That's the only pro motocross race in the 450 class that he hasn't won the overall. Outside of that, 2023 went 22-0, and he won Paula and High Point and Thunder Valley. And I believe he went Southwick too. Let's see here. Did he race Southwick last year? I don't remember. But Jet has outdoors, Jet is just an animal that's nigh untouchable. Let's see here. Yeah, he won South. So last year, he won Fox. He went. What did he do? How did he end up 12th? Oh, he went 24-6. Oh, that's right. He did race the second moto. So he went 24-6 at Hangtown for 12th. So his worst finish in his 450 motocross ever is 12th place. That's the worst one he's ever had. Outside of that, he won Fox, he won Thunder Valley, he won High Point, he won Southwick before he finally went out. So I don't know, like, we all doubt him. We all think like, oh, he's coming back, he's not going to be as good. And then guess what? He just is. Like, he is just this guy. So in fact, I was looking at a stat today that basically was like, if he wins 15 motos this year, he's gonna basically be so if he wins a little over half the motos, which he's already got 2, he basically will be almost like right in the realm there of second all-time moto wins. Like, yes, Ricky's way out there with 102, but if he wins, I mean, chances of him winning less than 10 motos in a year are slim. So I don't know how you stop him. I don't know. I don't know how this doesn't turn into a blowout here. Maybe because Tomac will be good and also run right with him. Because, I mean, when those two got going, they dropped everybody by 30 seconds. Like, everybody. So, now that being said, I was highly, highly impressed with how Tomac rode yesterday. The first moto was kind of like, maybe this isn't going to go the best. By the time we got the second moto, game over. I was like, oh, yeah, he's here. And we all kind of thought that he would be here, right? We all knew what beast mode was. We all knew that he could be this guy. But we were all ages undefeated in our sport. So we all thought, man, is he going to? Is he going to be able to run with Jet? And then you know what? He proved he could. Now, can he beat him? That's a whole nother question. But he can run with him, which will at least hopefully keep things interesting. And Chase will eventually get some stuff figured out here and be running with them also. Didn't happen yesterday, but we'll get to Chase in a little bit. Now, Hunter goes third with a 3-4. That was just a good solid day for Hunter, in my opinion. He wasn't anywhere in the ballpark with those top two, but that was a good solid day. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't think Hunter can get in the ballpark with those top two. And I will say this because I do believe Hunter rides better when Jet's there. So I do believe that Hunter does ride better when Jet's there, and I do believe at a certain point Hunter will get a start with Jet and be able to go with him. Yesterday, no, but I do think that will happen eventually. AP goes 5-3 for fourth. That is actually slightly exceeding my expectations with AP. Now, again, here too, as I said in the reaction show last night, I'm trying not to overreact to the first round. I'm trying to look into things a little bit, but not get wild and crazy, right? So I think this is where AP slots in, though, right? I think AP fights right there around that top 5. In fact, I put him in that second tier of dudes where he's like a 4 to 8th place guy, and there's a lot of those dudes in there that I think will go back and forth the entire year here. Another one of those people would be Justin Cooper. Now, again, Justin Cooper, absolutely fantastic day. Goes 2-8, and that 2, that's like high end for him. Could he win a moto? There's an outside chance. But he is one of the guys that I do believe does have at least an outside chance of winning a moto. So, to me, that was a great day for Justin Cooper. You get the ball rolling on the season. Again, I think we get to the end of the year, and especially now with the way Chase is with his points, and I think it's going to be sneaky good of like all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, Justin Cooper's like 3rd, 4th in points because he's just that 1B guy, right? Like he's not Jet, he's not Tomac, he's not Chase, but he's just like that one little step below, like a 1B. And I think it'll only get better. Prado goes 7-6 for 6th, and this is right where I thought Prado would slot in. I think he'll get better as the year goes on, but he's got to learn the bike and the tracks and the team and the routine of a race day with these single race days. So I do think he'll improve, and I think by the time we get to midway, you're going to see him battling up a little bit closer to the podium, if not getting on the box. But this is right where I saw Prado slotting in. Now, again, this could change next weekend. He could go 2-2 for 2nd overall, and we could be like, holy crap, look at him. He's doing it. But for right now, this is what I see. Jason Anderson goes 9-5 for 7th. Not really a surprise. A little bit better than I thought. I kind of figured him more towards the, we'll call it 8 to 12 range, just because of like lack of prep and whatever. But the 9-5 for 7th seems like a great day. Joey Savacci was fantastic yesterday. I saw him up in the top 5 a couple of times. I was highly impressed. He goes 8-10 for 8th, which is even more impressive because if you haven't seen on social media, he smacked one of the light poles out there with his finger. And I mean, it was swollen. If that thing's not broken, I don't know how, but it was swollen, black and blue, blood blistered. Like, I don't know how he was holding on with that. Now, that being said, dude, what a great start to the outdoor season as far as I'm concerned for Joey Savacci. Because you look at Joey and you look at the guys ahead of him here, and it's like, okay, I could see him battling Jason. But then, like, once you get beyond that, like maybe AP and Hunter, he kind of could slot in at the back end of that group. But for the most part, it's like, okay, this is basically kind of where I see him, okay? Maybe like a 5 to 10 dude, I guess. Because when you get into that top 5, that's when it gets really rough in this 450 class right now. RJ goes 6-12 for 9th. Had a surgery on his wrist of some sorts. What that was, is anything, I don't know. No one seems to know. But hey, he was out there. He was doing it. Decent starts. And again, right where I think RJ kind of slots in, I don't really see him being a whole bunch better than this, especially coming off of a wrist surgery here, no matter how minor it was. Now, once I think we build into the second half of the season, then maybe he gets a little more spicy and gets a little bit more towards that top 5. But for right now, okay. Benoit Paturel goes 11-9 for 10th. That's that signing by the Twisted Tea Suzuki team. Paturel's a good rider. I don't know that I see him in the top 10 like this, right? And there's a lot of these guys. The next guy, too, Valentin Guido. Ugh, I can't say that name at all. He goes 10-13 for 11th. This is kind of all where, 8 to 12 range guys that I see. Grant Harlan goes 14-11 for 12th. okay. That's kind of where I see that. Webb goes 37.7 for 13th, which that kind of, he should have pushed up farther. Obviously a bike issue in that first moto there. Who knows what happened with that, but he fried that motor, and thank goodness he got away with just pulling off the track, because when that motor was smoking the way it was, I was like, oh, please, let's not show him just ejecto seating over the top, please. I can't watch that. I can't watch that. Just listen to the Jimmy Button podcast on Gypsy Tales and listen to the paralyzing stories and things like that, and I'm just like, man, I can't do this. So I'm glad he got out of that pretty scot-free there. Sucks for the first moto, but he battled with Prado for like 50 minutes yesterday, so you can't really say too much. I'm interested to see how long he goes in the season, because I'm not really sure, but he says he's going the whole way, so we'll see. Derek Drake, 17-14 for 14th. Amazing in qualifying. I think like 10th place in qualifying, so absolutely amazing in qualifying. Malcolm Stewart goes 12:35 for 15th. I think he had a bike issue that second moto, if I remember correctly. Colt Nichols, 13:40 for 16th. He must have had some sort of issue. Mason Simmons from Australia, have no idea who he is, 18:18 for 17th. Roman Pope, the Pope is back, 23:15 for 18th. Harry Koulis, Harry's back, 16:21 for 19th. And Cody Schock rounding out your top 20 with a 15:37 for 20th. With that being said, let's see here. We got any Michigan boys? Oh, Mitchell Harrison goes 38-34 for 39th. He must have had issues. And then we'll talk about Chase Sexton goes 39 DNS. Now, number one, I don't know what happened to the goggles. I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. All it takes is a little bit of dirt somewhere you're not expecting, and boom, you have dirt in your goggles. You got to abandon ship. Whether it was dirt in the goggles or not, that's a question that remains to be answered as far as my thought process right now. So I don't know what to actually attribute that to, but he did throw the goggles, so that was a thing. Now, beyond that, I don't know why that bike hit false neutral, but in my opinion, that's what that looks like, is that bike hit false neutral, which is what caused that whole issue. Now, where does he finish beyond that? If he doesn't have that issue, I don't know. But, man, it is just... I saw a thing today that said Chase Sexton is this generation's James Stewart, just slower. And, man, that's kind of true. Like, I don't know. If he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck. I don't know what to attribute it to. I don't think it mattered. I don't think he was battling with Jet. But with that being said, too, just what a terrible luck. I mean, again, we say you can't lose the title, but you can win, or you can't win the title, but you can lose the title the first round, and he just lost the title because he's now 50 points behind. So I don't think Sexton battles for the title, which does work in our favor because now he's just trying to win races. He's just trying to win races and stack points for going into SMX there. So we'll see what happens with that. But that was your 450 race recap, brought to you by our friends at Gutterworks. Always well hung, just like Justin Barsha. Now, with that being said, we will jump into our Complete Racing Solutions halftime report. Make sure to check out CompleteRacingSolutions.com. Schedule your 30-minute phone interview with Coach Rob, and he can help you out with all your fitness and nutrition needs. So, as far as halftime reports go here, the only thing... Let's actually... You know what? Let's go in here, and let's go to the Racer X homepage. And just see here, Lucas Coonan in the MXGPs has figured it out, and that's a big problem for everyone else there. We're going back to Assen for MXON 2027, which, to be honest, I don't really care. Let's see here. Anything else on the Racer X page? Oh, Talon Hawkins stepped away from professional racing. Well, let's mark that down as another kid that got chewed up and spit the fuck out for going pro there because of poor guidance. let's see here. Anything else that looks crazy? Okay, let's get into the TLR tinfoil hat segment here, which is basically just turned into our silly season section. So it's been pretty well known this week here. Everybody's been kind of talking about it, that Eli was testing the Ducati this week, which is strange that the week of the series starting, he is testing the Ducati. The Ducati semi was spotted in Cortez. The head of racing or whatever literally posted a thing where that said he was in Colorado, which some people might say, oops, that was an oopsie or whatever. It was not an oopsie. He's done this. He was somewhere else. Oh, he when he met Ken Roczen at MotoGP, same thing. So he's doing this on purpose to basically say, like, yes, we're talking to all of these guys here about racing for us next year. That being said, super interesting. I mean, the Eli Tomac thing has basically come down to the two things that everyone's talking about is he's either going to KTM or Ducati. Now, my thing with KTM is that with KTM's financial issues, I don't know how you go there and expect to get paid at this current moment. I think you have to run away, which is part of what I think Chase is also doing, but that's just speculation on my part. I don't have any concrete information on that. Now, that being said, the Ducati thing, I'm also not a super big fan of for Eli, and that is strictly for the fact of that bike is unproven, basically untested, especially in Supercross. So I don't know how you go to try to round out your career when you are and wanting to win and doing that. Now, you could go to KTM, and if it's all about winning and the money doesn't matter, then you could go to KTM. But I would think if the money didn't matter, you would ride for free or bonuses only and just stay at Star, where you've been, where you're happy, where you like the bike. But I think you also want some money. So I don't know. I don't know where he ends up, but it's one of those two. That's for sure. Those are the things that we have come to. So we will see where he ends up, but super interesting that he has definitely tested that Ducati. Looking in the chat here for our members, this is a good time for me to point out for anybody watching the replay of this. If you want to see the show recorded live, and most of the time, barring the few like this, we are doing a live show. There are people in the studio with me. It's not just me talking. You can join our members area for as low as 99 cents a month, and you can watch this get recorded live. Now, we are going to be upgrading our live recording a little bit here. Number one, we're going to hardwire the thing in so that hopefully the lag that's going on doesn't happen. But we'll jump into the members chat here. Michael says, damn, Jet is good. Ralph, what's up, buddy? Good to see ya. He is not going undefeated 100%. I assume you're talking about Jet. I agree. I don't think he's going undefeated moto-wise. Maybe overall, but not moto. He's good. I'm excited for the battle. Is Chase still racing? I think Chase... I haven't heard anything about Chase today, but I haven't really been doing that, looking for stuff either. I've been out doing yard work, putting up the pool, that kind of stuff. I knew he was good. I knew he was going to do good. It's Jet Lawrence. Yeah, of course. And VG Sykes says, what's up? What's up? Good to see you all in there. Appreciate all of you members. If you guys do join the members area, like I said, not only do you get to see the show recorded live, you also get to see... we also have a Thirsty Thursday live stream, which is just me, you, 30 minutes, 9 p.m. Eastern on Thursday nights. Talking about anything and everything from racing to real life to everything else in between. Now, if this camera does go dark for some reason, this is our camera that shuts off after about 30 minutes. So then we'll transfer over to the other one. So don't panic. We may have a momentary thing of black screen here. In fact, it looks like we're getting to about 31 minutes, but I had the thing going. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so... with that being said, I don't really have anything else here for the halftime show. I was trying to keep notes this week and come up with some things, but of course, you know, it's always tricky. We are buried at work in the shop of TLR Coatings as per normal, and so yeah, we will. That'll be our Complete Racing Solutions halftime report. So. Thanks to Complete Racing Solutions and Coach Rob. Also thanks to Holster Co., even though I didn't have a rant this week. But for all your things that go boom, boom, pow, pow, they have options for that. So they have options for you being able to holster those things. So you can go ahead and go check them out. And thanks to TLR Coatings for not only providing us with this great studio space, but sponsoring us for the TLR tinfoil hat segment there. Now, I guess one more thing we'll address here on the halftime report before we go into our 250s and get this thing wrapped up here. The Jet Lawrence thing. The Jet Lawrence video that was released, the Lucas Myrtle thing. Okay, I've been getting asked about this. Some of the members, including Ralph, has asked me about this. And I said I would address it on this show. So this is where I'm going to go with this, okay? The Jet Lawrence video that got released there, not the best look for him. Let's put it that way. Now, that being said, this was however many years ago. He was a dumb kid saying stuff he shouldn't. We've all said, maybe not things to that extent, but you've been with your buddies, you've been with your friends, you've been on camera, you've been whatever, and you've said things, whether it was your first time swearing or some sort of something sexual or any of this kind of stuff, racial, whatever, doesn't matter. Everybody said something at some point, okay? Now, that being said, like I said, it's not a good look, and I do believe it needed to be addressed as soon as it came out. The waiting thing until the press conference, the press conference with Gypsy setting you up perfectly for the perfect PR response, in my opinion, is kind of He said all the correct stuff, that he apologizes for it, all that stuff. Okay, cool, awesome. And that's all we can do. We can't go back. None of us can go back and change the past, okay? I can't go back and change the past of shit I've said before. He can't go back and change the shit he said before. If somebody decided to release a video like that, okay, fine, whatever. We've all got a history. We've all got things we're not proud of. We were all dumb, retarded kids at some point. Every single one of us, okay? Again, not a great look, and I think it should have been headed off to an extent right away, but we've all said dumb stuff, okay? Now, this also being said, I don't think this is over. And why I don't think this is over, I've said from the beginning, and I'll say it again. Lucas Myrtle and his whole getting fired situation does not pass the sniff test in my book. There's nothing about this situation that gives me vibes of everything's to the book and everything is exactly what they're telling us it is, right? You fire the guy without calling him and telling him you're fired. He reads a press release on Vital that says he's fired. You then file a lawsuit that, oh wait, you didn't file a lawsuit until days and days and days, if not even weeks later, which you file wrongly, which you're a billion, like Wasserman's a $1 billion+ company, and you can't even file a lawsuit for someone embezzling money or / stealing money from clients in the wrong way. What? Then you have to refile and refile and refile, and you still haven't filed the correct one. So, okay. And then tell me when the last time was you saw somebody who's getting popped for embezzling money or stealing money, and there isn't a video of him getting arrested because he hasn't been arrested, because he hasn't gone to jail, because he hasn't been charged, because he hasn't been formally, technically accused of actually stealing. None of this makes sense. Now, that being said, I have zero idea what the hell is actually going on. All I know is that Lucas pissed in somebody's Cheerios high up somewhere, whether it be Wasserman or Honda or anywhere, and this is happening. And maybe it wasn't even he pissed in somebody's Cheerios like that. It may have actually been just somebody close to him that got pissy and didn't like him. Jacob Hayes. But I don't know. I don't have any. This is all speculation. You want to talk about a TLR tinfoil hat? This is a true TLR tinfoil hat. What I'll tell you is it's not what they're saying it is. And again, I think the Jet video is just the beginning of things that are going to come out. When you're that close with people and you consider people family, and that family turns your back on you for bogus reasons, you're pissed. And I honestly think at some point here, Lucas kind of made the bed of, I'll just drop it. I'll just leave it alone. I still got clients that'll work with me. I'll rebuild my name through them and we'll move on. They won't leave him alone. And that's where these issues are going to stem from. So I don't know all the details. I'm not going to claim to know all the details. I'm going to tell you this is literally just my opinion, speculation, and for entertainment purposes only, that I don't believe for a second it is what they're saying it is. So we'll see. I'm sure there's more that'll come to light. I think if they don't leave him alone, I do believe Lucas is going after everyone. From Dazzy to Jacob Hayes to the Wasserman Group themselves. I believe he has dirty laundry on all of them, and the Jet thing is just the tip of the iceberg, and it will only get bigger and worse. So we'll wait and see. But it's interesting. So with that being said, that is the end of our Complete Racing Solutions halftime report. And there y'all go. Oh, whoops, we went out. There y'all go. Now I've addressed it. Now we have, now we've talked about. Sorry, I know the camera went. I was monologuing. I was into it, boys. I was into it. Ralph, luckily I grew up before camera phones. You and me both. Anyway. With that being said, here, let's jump into our 250 race recap brought to you by our friends at Flo Racing. For all your small bike needs, PW50s, 65, Cobra 50s, KTM 50 juniors and seniors, 125s, 85s. They have all the parts and the information you could possibly need for not only fixing those things, upgrading those things, making them better. So make sure to check them out. Link in the description down below. And let's get popping here. So, Deegs comes out, goes 1-1. Deegs is a hometown Paula native. Deegs is a veteran at this point. And I said this in the reaction show, so if you watch all the content, and I keep stressing this because I know some of you guys watch everything, and you just hear me repeat myself, and I apologize for that. But anyway, so Deegs looks like a veteran now. He spent a lot of time yesterday not going aggro. There was a few times I saw it, but for the most part, he wasn't going aggro. He didn't panic when he didn't get the top 2 start in either moto. He literally sat there, let the race come to him, and went and attacked. And as I said yesterday, if he does this all year, they're all fucked. He is going to walk away with this. Somebody this week in one of the podcasts I was listening to said that he really hoped that somebody would be able to keep it together to go second place, third place, whatever, multiple weeks in a row here so that the points were at least close. However, if they can't do that, then by round 4, this is going to be out of hand again, and you're going to watch Deegan literally stroll to this championship. That being said, I'm not sure. I don't know that Deegan loses more than a couple of races, both in overalls and in motos this year, just because he looks like such a veteran. And there is that time in every prodigy's career, we'll say, where they just figure it out, and they figure out, oh, I don't have to go crazy aggro all the time and be on the edge. I can literally just stay calm, take my time, and get there. That's what he's figured out. That's what he looked like he was doing yesterday. Maybe it'll look different next week, but if it looks anything remotely close to the same next week at Hangtown as it did this week at Paula, everyone in that class is screwed. Now, that being said, Joe rode great yesterday going 2-2. Joe rode really great. Now, can Joe keep this up all season? I don't know. Joe started strong in Supercross, had the finger issue. That was it. Fell off the wagon. Most of the time he starts slow, and by the end he's challenging. So how will this play out? I'm not sure. It was a great 2-2 for Joe yesterday. He was right there with Hayden a lot of the time. He was right there with everybody a lot of the time. So cool to see, and hopefully he can keep it going and keep this points race at least close. Because otherwise, between him and Jet, by the time we get to round 4-5, it could be wildly boring as far as championships go. So Vial does typical Tom Vial stuff and gets a very quiet 4-3 for third overall on the day, which again, didn't lose the title. Not spectacular, but didn't lose it for his last season here on the 250. And, I mean, he had good starts yesterday, but again, this is a very underwhelming Tom Vial, kind of like we've been seeing here basically for 2 years now. Hymas goes 3-6 for fourth. I don't know what happened that second moto. He didn't have a great start, but he was still like 10th-ish when the board finally picked up. His qualifying was out of control. This kid is here to party, but I hope he can keep it together and really actually party all year here with Deegan this summer, and not just be spotty here, there, and everywhere. But that being said, I do think he has the speed to win some motos, and maybe an overall here. So we'll have to wait and see. Juju goes 5-4 for fifth. And that was a good ride by Juju as far as I was concerned. To me, looked like he took a little step over last year. Now, he didn't. It was Paula. Next week's Hangtown. Let's get to Thunder Valley, maybe even High Point, and then we'll really talk about if he took a step. But for right now, it looks good. I think these first three will be good, but we have to see what he looks like on East Coast Dirt, because I'm not 100% convinced yet. So we'll have to wait and see. Marchbanks had a good day. He goes 6-5 for 6. All the PC boys very up and down all day. Real highs, real lows. Marchbanks was good in qualifying. He was fast for a big dude like he is. And this is a good way. Again, didn't lose the title. Didn't lose the entire season here. Probably not where he wanted. He probably wanted to be close to the box. But if I'm Marchbanks, I take this as a good opening round and a run. Haymaker goes 8-7 for 7th. Again, good day running up front at times. Fast at times. But just little things here and there that just end up with a 7th overall. Again, good start to the year. Not great, but whatever. Michael Motorcycle, Michael Mosman goes 11-8 for 8th. And to be honest, I didn't really see him all day. Didn't pay attention to him, didn't see him, wasn't looking for him. So that was a good finish as far as I'm concerned for Mike. But yeah, I don't expect much more than that out of him, basically. So Max Voland from tipping over in practice, going down the hill that was out of control, to 12-10 on the day for 9th. I think Max will take that for the start of the outdoor season there and build on that, which I think as far as this field goes with as many good dudes as we have, I think that was good. Masterpool goes 7-15 for 10th. That first moto start was great, and that fade was super hard, and that is just what I think we're going to see from Ty. I think the Ty Masterpool train has sailed. Ty has a couple of good races a year, and that's basically it for him. Drew Adams, 9-14 for 11th. Okay. Again, if I'm Drew, I'm taking that. We got a top 10 the first moto. Second moto wasn't as great. End up 11th. In my opinion, for Drew, for basically starting his pro career, because, yeah, he ran Ironman last year, but he ended up, I think he crashed out. Let's see here. I think he crashed out of one of the motos last year. Oh, let's see here. Ironman. Ended up 12th and went 15-11. Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great for Drew Adams last year at Ironman there. Casey Cochran showed back up, goes 14-11 for 12th. He was kind of invisible to me all day. Didn't really see him. Ryder D, 17-9 for 13th. Again, I think these are good finishes for these guys to build on. When you start looking up the lineup here above them, it's like I don't expect these guys to beat anybody in front of them. Parker Ross goes 16-12 for 14th. Mikkel Harrup here goes 15-16 for 15th. But I've heard that Paula's not a great track for his style, so we'll see as we continue on. He's in for the whole series with Triumph. I'm very excited to see him, especially once he gets he's another Euro that once he kind of gets used to the pacing of things and how things work and how the race day flows, I think it'll get better here as we get towards mid to late season. Kitchen goes 10:38 for 16th. Those title hopes are basically out the window already for Levi there. It's a good thing he got a 2-year extension on his contract because that, in my opinion, is a subpar performance. The 10th place in the first one would be okay if you followed it up with a 4th to 8th place second moto, but when you follow it up with having bike issues and 38th, now all of a sudden it's like, nope, this is not good. So here's Kitchen flopping again. Kitchen's fast. Kitchen is really good, but man, he is really good at underperforming here too. Dylan Schwartz goes 24:13 for 17th. Enzo Temmerman goes 18:17 for 18th. He's not even a pro yet. Jordan Smith 13:23 for 19th. Okay. And rounding out your top 20 is Lux Turner going 19:18 for 20th. Now, with that being said, we have a couple other people I want to cover here in this. So, number one, Jeremy Martin goes 20:20 for 21st overall. And Jeremy Martin worked to go 20:20. The first race, when I first picked him up on the pylon there, on the side of the screen, he was 31st in the first moto. So he came from 31st or worse to 20th. The second moto, he was 38th when I first saw him on the pylon. So both motos, he was coming from the back. Now, I don't think race pace, racecraft, or race durability are his issues. I think it's literally the starts. He was nowhere on either of those starts. So I think you get Jeremy Martin a start. I think he runs well inside the top 10 all day / pushing towards the top 5. But he had a hell of a day passing a bunch of dudes to go 20:20. And I don't know if 21st gets points or not. I can't remember. All right. Now, that being said, let's keep going here. Forkner goes 40:22 for 31st. Now, I have heard this week that Forkner has an expiration date, aka if he's not producing results by this point, we're pulling the plug for the year. Now, whether that means that they're pulling the plug on his contract or not, I'm not sure, but that's rough. And you know, to be honest, like there's nothing like I don't really Forkner being nervous to ride, which I don't know if that's what it is, because he's kind of started showing sparks. Like qualifying, he was up there. But him being nervous to ride doesn't surprise me at all. He's had a bunch of horrific injuries, and then he had the brain surgery and all this stuff. So we'll see how Forkner goes. I hope he puts it together and gets to ride the entire season, but there is, from what I understand, an expiration date. Nate Thrasher goes 32 DNS and was being transferred to the hospital, so I don't know what's going on with that, but that was very Nate Thrasher. And Styles Robertson goes 39 DNS. I don't have any issue with Styles, but it might be time to hang it up and just mark that down as another kid who got chewed up and spit out the back end. So, yeah, so that's basically your 250 race recap there, brought to you by our friends at Flo Racing. Let's see here. Steven, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Ralph, 5 guys in the top 10 sounds good, though that first moto for PC. It is. Kitchen's becoming Chase without lucking out to a championship. Also true there. I don't think that was JM number 6 kind of track. It was not a JM 6 kind of track. What do you think of the 27 and FXR gear? FXR is making moves, man. I think he wore 7 for a long time. Here's the thing. I know there's kind of been this rumor going around. Is James broke? Is 7 gear broke? I don't think they're broke. But I'm not sure he was actually getting paid for that deal. I don't know. That's 100% speculation, but I'd love to see the pay stubs. So, anyway, with that being said, and we're gone. What? Is the live not working? Did the live quit working? It shows it's working on my end. I'm confused. I don't understand. The camera's still on. Everything's still going. Not that it matters. We're at the end of the show here. I heard something about James not paying Cole Beach. That is true. That is very true. I've heard that same thing from sources that would know. So, yeah. Yeah, Cole Beach was not getting paid, which is why, yeah. Yep, that's the sum total of what I'm going to say about that one. Anyway, okay, so with that being said, we won't drag this out too long. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank our sponsors. Thanks Rev X Products for presenting the show. I want to thank Worx, Flo Racing, Holster Co., Complete Racing Solutions, TLR Coatings. Also want to thank NANO XTREME. If you guys want a free sample of NANO XTREME, again, make sure to send me your name, email address, and shipping address in email form. There is a link to an email address in the description down below, and we will get you out a free sample of NANO XTREME. And yeah, with that being said, this has been episode 307 of me solo monologuing here. We will be back next week, regular scheduled time, 6 p.m. Eastern for all of our members there. So go join the members area. If you haven't, you can watch the show get recorded live. If not, we'll be back next week, Tuesday. Again, regular show. We will have co-hosts sitting across the table from me, and we will be talking Hangtown wrap up and what we know now being a couple of races into the series. Thanks everybody for joining us. Really appreciate it, and we will see you all on the next one. Thanks for tuning into the Moto Aftermath Show. If you guys like the show, make sure to give us a thumbs up there with that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification so you never miss a show update, a live show, or anything that we're doing here, because when we find out news, we will be on here bringing you our thoughts with it. Also, if you guys want to help support the show, join our members area. You'll get member exclusives, including live shows. You get to watch the show being recorded live, and you'll get all sorts of other member benefits. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Join the members area, subscribe. We'll see you all on the next one.